What happens when the rulers of the earth will vanish in a flash of fire and dust? For millions of years, dinosaurs held the title of the largest land animals on the planet. Their extinction left a void, a power vacuum waiting to be filled. But the creature that seized this opportunity wasn't another dinosaur, nor was it one of our mammalian ancestors. It was a snake. Not just any snake. Imagine a serpent longer than a city bus, weighing more than a bison. A predator so immense it could stalk and devour giant crocodiles with ease. This is no myth, no legend from a forgotten age. This was Titanoboa cerrejonensis, the largest snake known to science. It emerged from the ashes of the Cretaceous extinction to become the undisputed king of a new world. But its very existence presents a profound biological puzzle. In the 60 million years since its reign, no snake has ever come close to its titanic proportions. How did this colossal serpent arise in the wake of apocalypse? And why has nothing like it ever appeared again? The answer lies buried, not in legend, but deep within the earth, in the ancient swamplands of a world far hotter than our own. Our story begins not in a pristine jungle, but in a place scarred by industry, the Cerrejón coal mine in northern Colombia. It is one of the largest open-pit mines on Earth, a vast, terraced landscape where colossal machines chew through ancient rock, seeking the black seams of fossilized fuel. For decades, this mine yielded a different kind of fossil, the remains of a prehistoric rainforest compressed into coal. But locked within that coal was something else entirely. In 2002, a geology student visiting the mine noticed an unusual fossil, a discovery that initially seemed unremarkable. Fossils of ancient turtles and crocodiles were known from the area, but this one was different. It was a vertebra, but its shape was unmistakable. It didn't belong to a crocodile or a turtle. It belonged to a snake. The problem was its size. It was enormous, larger than the vertebrae of even the biggest anacondas alive today. Could a single snake have grown so large? It seemed biologically impossible. For years, the fossil remained a curiosity, a tantalizing but baffling piece of a puzzle with no picture on the box. It wasn't until a team of paleontologists from the University of Florida and the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute began a systematic excavation that the true picture emerged. The mine was a treasure trove. As more giant vertebrae were unearthed, along with ribs and fragments of a skull, a horrifying and magnificent creature began to take shape. They were assembling the ghost of a giant that had haunted these swamps 60 million years ago. So, using the clear relationship between vertebra size and total body length in modern snakes, the scientists did the math. The numbers were staggering. The creature they had found stretched over 13 meters, or 42 feet, and would have weighed more than 1,100 kilograms, or 2,500 pounds. They gave it a name worthy of its scale, Titanoboa, the Titanic boa. The discovery confirmed that a snake of impossible size had truly existed. Now scientists face the even greater challenge of understanding the anatomy of this colossal predator. To understand a Titanoboa is to confront the limits of what a snake can be. Imagine a creature that is essentially a scaled-up version of a modern boa constrictor, yet pushed to an extreme beyond anything alive today. Its sheer length, over 13 meters, made it longer than many school buses, but its mass was truly unprecedented. At over a ton, Titanoboa was a thick, muscular powerhouse, its body as wide as a human torso. This was a snake built for pure, brute strength. Its hundreds of massive vertebrae, each far larger than those of any contemporary snake, were interconnected by powerful muscles, allowing for incredible constriction force. When it wrapped around prey, it wouldn't just squeeze, it would crush, capable of exerting hundreds of pounds per square inch of pressure, enough to collapse the lungs and circulatory system of even large animals. But Titanoboa's anatomy was more than just immense scale. The shape and articulation of its vertebrae suggest it was primarily aquatic or semi-aquatic, perfectly adapted to a life in vast, warm swamps. Its body was robust, not slender, indicating a powerful swimmer and a formidable constrictor rather than a swift, terrestrial hunter. The skull, though less completely preserved than its spinal column by Sal, offered tantalizing clues about its predatory habits. While some initially debated whether it might have been more crocodilian in its feeding, the general structure points to a classic constrictor designed to swallow enormous meals whole. Its teeth, like those of modern boas, were recurved and sharp, perfect for gripping slippery prey. This was not a venomous hunter. It was a pure engine of destruction, a living hydraulic press capable of dominating its environment through sheer, overwhelming power. To have encountered Titanoboa in its prime would have been to witness an apex predator unlike any other, a true leviathan whose very existence hinted at a world of unimaginable heat and abundance. And it is this world, the hothouse climate of the Paleocene, that truly holds the key to its astonishing size. How does a snake grow to the size of a bus? The answer is not just in its genes, but in the world it inhabited. The secret to Titanoboa's immense size is heat. 60 million years ago, during an epoch known as the Paleocene, the Earth was a greenhouse planet. Atmospheric carbon dioxide levels were far higher than today, and there were no permanent polar ice caps. The planet was hot, humid, and teeming with life that was seizing the opportunities left in the wake of the dinosaurs. The Cerrejon Formation, where Titanoboa was discovered, preserves a perfect snapshot of this world, a vast, swampy river system that was home to the first known neotropical rainforest. The average temperature here was scorching. This extreme heat was the engine for reptilian gigantism. As an ectotherm, or cold-blooded animal, a snake's metabolic rate is dictated by the temperature of its surroundings. In a cooler climate, its metabolism slows, limiting its activity, digestion, and ultimately, its potential for growth. But in the sweltering heat of the Paleocene, Titanoboa's internal furnace was running at full blast. This supercharged metabolism allowed it to process food more efficiently and dedicate more energy to growth, pushing its body to dimensions that seem fantastical today. In fact, scientists have used this very principle to reconstruct its environment. By calculating the metabolic energy required to sustain a reptile of Titanoboa's 1-ton mass, they estimated that the mean annual temperature in its habitat must have been between 30 and 34 degrees Celsius. That's significantly hotter than the average temperature of the Amazon rainforest today. This oppressive heat didn't just forge a giant snake, it supercharged the entire ecosystem. It was a world of giants, where even the turtles and crocodiles grew to monstrous sizes. In this hothouse Eden, surrounded by colossal prey, Titanoboa was perfectly positioned to become the undisputed king. In this sweltering, supercharged world of giants, what was life like for its apex predator? Titanoboa was, above all, a creature of the water. Its massive body, too cumbersome to move with agility on land, was transformed in the murky rivers and swamps of its domain. Here it was a silent, patient hunter. Imagine it, lying submerged in the dark, tannin-stained water, perfectly camouflaged. Motionless for hours, perhaps days, it waited. Like a modern anaconda, its lifestyle was one of sublime energy conservation, punctuated by moments of terrifying, explosive violence. It wasn't a chaser, it was an ambusher. The slightest ripple from a passing animal, the scent of prey at the water's edge, would be all the trigger it needed. And the prey was as formidable as the predator. The fossil record of Cerrejon shows that Titanoboa shared its world with other giants. There were Dirosaurids, a family of large, long-snouted crocodilians like Acherontissuchus, themselves fearsome predators. There were also colossal freshwater turtles like Carbonomes. armored reptiles, Ratendor, with shells over 1.5 meters wide. Tackling such prey required a specialist. When Titanoboa struck, it would have been with incredible speed, its jaws, lined with needle-sharp recurved teeth, latching onto the victim. But the jaws were just for grip. The real kill came from its body. In a fluid, terrifying motion, its muscular coils would envelop the struggling animal, applying a pressure so immense it would shatter bone and extinguish life in moments. After the kill, the snake would begin the long process of swallowing its meal whole, its uniquely flexible skull allowing it to engulf prey wider than its own head. A single massive meal like a crocodile or giant turtle could sustain it for many months, allowing it to retreat into the warm water and digest the undisputed, silent king of its swampy empire. For millions of years, Titanoboa reigned supreme, a titan perfectly sculpted by its environment. But the very thing that made this giant possible, the intense, stable heat of its greenhouse world, was also its greatest vulnerability. The Earth's climate is never static. Following the extreme warmth of the Paleocene, the planet began a long, slow, and inexorable cooling trend. The forces that drove this are complex, tied to shifting continents and changing ocean currents. But the result for life on Earth was profound. For an animal as specialized as Titanoboa, it was a death sentence delivered in slow motion. As the average global temperature began to fall, the sweltering swamps of Colombia cooled with it. For the giant snake, this was catastrophic. The drop of just a few degrees in the mean annual temperature would have been enough to fundamentally alter its existence. Its metabolism, once a roaring furnace, would have slowed. It would have become more sluggish, less capable of the explosive bursts of energy needed to ambush its massive prey. Digestion would have become a slower, more arduous process. A giant meal that once took months to process might now take longer, or fail to digest properly at all. The very physiological engine that supported its colossal frame was sputtering out. The giant was trapped in its own body, a biological machine designed for a world that was, degree by degree, vanishing around it. Unlike smaller, more adaptable reptiles that could survive in a broader range of temperatures, Titanoboa was too big, its energy requirements too extreme. It was an evolutionary specialist, and its specialty was a hothouse world. As the planet cooled, the ecological niche for a bus-sized snake simply evaporated. The king had no kingdom left to rule. So how did a snake grow longer than a bus? The story of Titanoboa shows us that it wasn't a monster from a myth, but a product of a unique moment in Earth's history. In the superheated greenhouse world that emerged after the dinosaurs, a window of opportunity opened. Extreme temperatures supercharged its cold-blooded metabolism, allowing it to shatter the limits on reptilian size. Titanoboa was the ultimate opportunist, an evolutionary experiment in gigantism that could only exist when the planetary thermostat was turned all the way up. Its story is a powerful reminder that with every great extinction comes a new world of possibility, and that life, when given the chance, will always push its own boundaries in spectacular and terrifying ways. If you were fascinated by this prehistoric titan, subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the incredible lost worlds of our planet.